God of War.
Nope, not that one. This one.
Moist Fob.
God of War is a game that's always been on my radar. I just never got around to playing it. Until 2018, aka the Zoomer introduction to God of War. I couldn't record it as, my computer's a toaster, so I stole footage from No Copyright Gameplay. Thank you for your service, sir. God of War 2018 was absolutely excellent. It's one of my top 10 games. It just checked every box for me. In fact, I loved it so much I wanted to play the whole series. And I heard that you could play it on PS5. And hell yeah, I have a PS5. But I'm not paying for premium. I already have extra or whatever. Emulator's the way to go. So, hell yes, we got a hard-ass menu. Really lets you know what's in store for you. Such a contrast to 2018's menu. I mean, look at this. This doesn't tell me a thing. Alright, I can't look at the menu forever, so as usual, let's get it.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
Yeah, so Kratos jumps off a cliff, and I did not expect the game to begin like that. But 3 weeks earlier...
Foul beast! I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
Depths of Hades? Like the underworld? Oh yeah, they need to be sent somewhere. They're evil. So I'm hacking up monsters on a boat. And it plays like you would expect. There's a light attack, a heavy attack. It's pretty standard for a beat 'em up. And I really appreciate this heavy attack you can do. It's called Plume of Prometheus. A very catchy name, I know. But I think God of War 2018 kind of harkens back to it with an attack called Hyperion Slam, which looks an awful lot like it. Looking good. I keep absorbing red stuff. XP, blood, freaking tomato soup. I don't know, but it's doing the trick. Eventually I get to a fight with a Hydra, and I gotta say, it looks awesome for a PS2 game. You take turns blocking, then doing damage, but I don't think mechanical complexity is the thing right now. I think this just kind of establishes the whole spectacle of the game, the sheer scale of both monsters and Kratos' strength. This is just the game letting you know how hard Kratos goes, which is quite hard. The fight really shines when I stun the thing. I can do a takedown by pressing the circle button. I do quick time events, but I don't really mind because, they're cool as hell. Later on, there's this guy in a cage, and I could save him, but he wants nothing to do with me. Kratos has a checkered past, I guess. I fight some weird bat demons until another Hydra busts through. I get into this sweet spot where he really can't hit me. Oh, yeah, okay, never mind, he can. The Hydra does this thing where it picks you up and you have to hold its mouth open. It's really cool, but they really expect you to mash that button. Like, really mash that button. I failed the button mash 4 times. Perhaps I have weak thumbs. Later, this guy gets shot, and Kratos is unfazed. This leads to a section with archers, and it is extremely annoying. You're supposed to kick this box to the end, but I was kind of slow on the uptake because I didn't read. Always read. I don't know why I didn't read. Past that, there's a door with a screaming woman behind it, and I gotta find the key. So I climb some netting, and I can attack, but it's slow, so the most effective thing I found is to grab them and just throw them off. Just keep doing it. It's the easiest thing. Secret chest full of red. Another secret chest, and this one's got a Gorgon eye. I don't know what a Gorgon is, but collect 5 of them for more health. Then Poseidon gives me some electricity power, and I thought that was more of a Zeus thing, but I'll let it go. More Hydras. Some screaming dude on the ship said that the big one heals the others. I got this. It's kind of like the standard Hydra fight, but, now with 2. And they keep doing the Kirby thing and pulling me to the other side with their breath. I kill them, then they come back, so obviously I'm not doing something right. Turns out I have to drop an anchor through their head. Pretty metal. When we're done with the 2 small ones, we climb up and face the really big one. It's large and in charge. It has a roar that pushes you off the platform, which is annoying, but I'm dealing with it. And obviously there's no blocking with this one. I gotta roll around. I gotta bash its head 3 times on a pole. This breaks the pole, which turns it into like a spike thing that I can use to impale it. The Hydra's defeated, and the other 2 Hydra's heads blow up. I am not sure why. It's the raw masculinity of Kratos that did it, I'm sure. So I've ended some giant monsters. Like, what could be cooler? Well, walking right inside of one, of course. When Kratos does this fake out saving somebody, he just wanted the key around the guy's neck. He is very much out for himself here, and I respect that. Now I can get in that locked door from before, and inside is less promising than you might have hoped for. Kratos heard maidens, but all he got was slaughter instead. The slaughter reminds Kratos of his past mistakes. But, heyo, we got some bazongas! Yeah. Kratos is all about his past. From 2005 to 2018, it's about his haunting past. He's just a moody-ass character. And Athena asks Kratos to kill Ares, the god of war. Yeah, Kratos isn't a god yet. Almost wish I played this first. So I pull up to Athens in style. And Athena says if I destroy Ares, the gods will forgive his past. We can only hope. So I make my way through some enemies, up an elevator, and we get our first special enemy, the Minotaurs. They're tough, they have great defense and great offense. But I learned they give health when you execute them, so if I'm low on health in battle, I'm gonna know when to prioritize. You gotta button mash though. I don't like button mashing anymore. Up another lift and we have an even beefier guy. And I am not quite sure what he is. He's got this big flail and you'd assume that he'd be easy to dodge. But the way he tracks onto you, you really have to wait to the last second to dodge. The execute's damn cathartic though, I love it. Hell yeah. Apparently the red things are power orbs. Yup, just orbs. Not souls or anything cool like that. I power up the Blades of Chaos so they do more damage, I get new attacks. And it's really satisfying how you literally have to like funnel the orbs in to level it up. I get to this room with boxes in it. And little did I know, this is the most difficult part of the game. It took me a while. Apparently I have to break the wooden crates. That wasn't immediately obvious. And then I just generally suck at platforming and my depth perception is nothing. I do end up getting a secret Gorgonite though, so maybe it was all worth it. No, it wasn't. After all the horror, I get to meet Aphrodite.
Kratos, the gods are pleased with your progress, but your current skills will not be enough to defeat the minions of Ares.
You will never defeat the minions of Ares. I will help you defeat the minions of Ares. Some incredible voice acting. And we get Gazongas again! This game is great! I have to fight a Medusa, and really you just have to roll around a lot so you don't get turned to stone. And the execution goes terribly for me. I was twirling the wrong stick the whole time, like a dumbass. I do this a few times before I realize what's wrong. Anyway, they give you mana when they die, so kind of the counter to the Minotaurs. Speaking of Minotaurs, a bunch spawn in. Then I need to use the new Medusa head to freeze them. Simply hold L2 and press square to fire. What could go wrong? Well, I read L2 as L1, so I just kind of pissed around for a bit. Most people probably wouldn't include that, but I'm Moist Fob, and I've never claimed to be good at games. Anyway, the Medusa head's great for Minotaurs, but there's no health, so you get a trade-off. Shoot through a door and come out to this balcony, and there's this ladder leaning on the wall. Apparently the wall is climbable, and I wouldn't have tried to do so if the ladder wasn't there, so good design, guys. Round of applause. Alright, check out this trade. And as learned before, grabbing is the most effective strategy when on a wall. I mean, why would I do anything else? Who am I to argue against productivity? Kratos pushes over one of those darn Confederate statues, and it creates a new path for us. Further on, I try using the Medusa head on a Medusa. Apparently they're called Gorgons. Mystery solved. I shoot another ballista and I climb across the rope. The enemies proceed to kick the shit out of me and kill me. It's because I kept grabbing. I was so used to doing it on the walls that I incorrectly assumed that on the rope that would be the optimal strategy. So that's my bad, I guess. Found another Gorgonite, that's useful. I shoot a ballista at another wooden door and it reveals a bunch of Minotaurs. Time for the Medusa head, and I'll put it to good use, I tell you. Man, this place looks awesome. It's probably gonna be a boss fight or something. Yeah, no, it's not. Instead, more booba. It's the Oracle of Athens, and she tells Kratos to enter her temple to learn to destroy a god. I don't know. More like enter my white van to get some candy, weirdo. I don't trust it.
Find my temple to the east, and I will show you how to murder a god.
Yeah, so we got this giant ginger guy, Ares. There is a minor size difference between him and Kratos, and that may be a problem, I'm not sure. Well, not going that way. I get locked in a room with infinite spawning Minotaurs. And I'll admit, yet again, I was a little slow on the uptake. You have to use the Medusa head to freeze one on the button, and that took me longer than it should have to figure out. I make it back out onto the street, and it turns out the pedestrians give you health. Kratos clearly isn't the good guy here. To add to that, you can break into houses because, you know, laws just don't apply to Kratos. My bad karma does catch up with me though. I get ganged up on by 2 Minotaurs and a Medusa. And I get turned to stone and I die. And I get sent all the way back to the beginning. Nice. And the second try goes a bit better. I don't get ganged up on. And I get another Gorgon Eye. And it was enough to upgrade my health, by a significant amount at that. And right after that I get a Phoenix Feather, which is for mana instead. Continuing down the road, I climb some ropes like I'm in gym class, and get a good view of Ares. This game excels at showing scale. Later on I find myself in Town Square. Wow, it's so square. So I'm immediately faced with what I assume to be trolls. They're tough, but there are so many people running around, they're just like little bags of health. Oh, and check this out. The execute on the troll just slams their face onto the ground and doesn't actually kill them. I was quite surprised, as you can see. I kinda got backhanded. But that's fine. I can deal with that. What I can't deal with are the little meat bags running around. They're great, they're full of health, until you need to execute your opponent. I go to execute and I just end up wasting it. I grab a person instead. I do this a couple of times, but I do eventually get through it. I'm gonna miss that ass though. Speaking of ass, there's a woman running away from me through a hallway. No, please, don't follow me. Yeah, Kratos doesn't listen for shit. She's so horrified by Kratos, in fact, that she actually takes a little bit of a small tumble off a balcony. People are horrified enough by Kratos to A, rot in a cell, and B, fall off a balcony to get away from him. I'm just wondering what exactly he did. Ignoring what I know from 2018, which, isn't much. He slays gods, I mean, who could have guessed? So the dead lady's got a key on her, so Kratos takes it, might be useful. Then I encounter a new enemy, these shield bastards. They're easy enough, you just gotta do a heavy attack and they're dead. While doing that heavy attack, I accidentally break a wall and I discover a secret. This game's got secrets in it, and I like that. I like playing games with secrets in them. So later on, it's getting a little dicey. I'm low on health after several fights, and I'm looking for another chest. I find one, and check this out. Yeah, they cycle between mana and health. Oops. Save station! Gotta love my save station. I used that dead lady key on a trapdoor I saw before, and I watched my opportunity for health literally get crushed. I make it to the rooftops of Athens. So I climb some vines, which is pretty cinematic, until I have to jump to the other side. I don't know if it's me or the camera angle, but I just couldn't get it. The instructions are easy, just pull the analog stick back and press the X button. Whatever, I got through it. I make it to the top and, that'll look good. Yeah, no, it ain't good. They kick my ass 3 ways to Sunday. It's a good thing this game's generous with health. Later on, there's more of those spinny bastards, but with a flail guy. It's not the big enemies that get me, it's the fast ones.
Go! Ares has breached the city!
Oh, that's rough. That bridge blew up. That means I have a climby section with archers shooting at me. Now, you already know how much I love climbing on the vines. Well, it's somehow even worse here. There's an XP chest you can go for like a little extra. I just stopped going for it because I kept dying over and over and over. Let's have a montage real quick. Alright, I'm gonna take that safety save. Hell yeah. Moving forward, things start going smoothly again. Killing harpies and minotaurs. Not a problem in the world. Until I start to get stuck. I killed all the enemies. What's left? There's a ballista. Alright. I found a door with a benevolent presence on the other side. That's cool. In that same room, there's a monster closet with a lever. At first, I thought this was like a secret room, but the lever makes me think otherwise. Oh, and it turns out there was more to the rooftop, so I go and I clear that out.
You! I must get across! Release the lever! Extend the bridge!
No! I won't let them get me. They won't get across. These monsters, they'll tear me apart!
Coward!
Well, this guy sucks. I find what I think is the path forward, but it's just a bunch of chests with archers shooting at you the whole time. It was just a big tease. Eventually, I don't figure it out. I cheat. And I have no regrets either. I wasn't having fun, and I play video games to have fun.
Hey, my name is MoistFob, and I like cheating through puzzles.
Alright, even though it wasn't a puzzle, I'll always bust out that meme, even if it's vaguely applicable. Turns out, I have to move the ballista, which I didn't know you could do. You gotta rotate it with the lever, and then you shoot the door with a benevolent presence. And behind it is Zeus. If Poseidon gave me lightning, I wonder what I'll get. It's more lightning, but this time you can throw it. I go back for some catharsis, and I blast that coward from before. This leads me down an elevator back to where we were, and I see the Oracle, aka the booby lady, getting attacked by harpies. Yeah, and she gets stolen away. And before I move on to the next level, I just want to say I really love how interconnected the world feels. The way the levels just wrap around to each other is just mwah, chef's kiss. Up some stairs, through some fodder, and I arrive at the Temple of Oracle. The Oracle gets hauled off again, of course, and I fight some harpies. And they shoot fire now, cool. Afterwards, I meet this old guy who's digging a grave for me. He's got like an Amish beard and a few dreadlocks. But I'm not one to judge. I have metal pierced through my face after all.
I will be there to help.
Yeah, this guy's gonna come back later. Once inside the temple, harpies are literally coming out of the walls. And they just keep coming until I realize it's infinite spawning enemies. And I learned that you can rip and tear wings off like it's Doom or something. This game would go well with a Doom-type metal soundtrack. Turns out I have to push some statues over the holes, and the harpies stop spawning. And thank God for that. Once upstairs, I sneak across some wooden beams, and they keep falling down. This place is built out of like twist ties and Elmer's glue. And I discover a secret, obscured by the camera angle. You couldn't see it when you were downstairs. It's another Gorgon eye, and it's actually enough to upgrade my health again. So I go across the beams again, through some fodder, and I make it outside. The harpies drop the Oracle, and we get a damsel in distress situation. Don't worry, babe, I'll save ya. And I do. Eventually. I open a chest, I puzzle around for a little bit, check my phone, play some Angry Birds, and the whole time I listen to this.
Kratos, get me down! What are you doing? I'm up here! Kratos, find a way up! You have to get to me! Kratos, get me down! What are you doing? I'm up here! What is keeping you? Athens crumbles as you waste time!
I find that I need to get to these vines, so I stack some statues up, and that's when the time limit begins. 67 seconds, specifically, which is an odd choice. I end up fumbling the controls, and the Oracle splats on the cement. Oops. Second try does it though, and I get her with 12 seconds to spare. Once on the ground, she grabs Kratos by the face, and he don't like that. This action makes him think about his past. Apparently he was a Spartan captain, he slaughtered his enemies, he had a fat honker's wife, and she was like, no, you must stop the killing, you're doing it for yourself. But he didn't care, his lust for conquest consumed him. And Kratos is pissed, so he assaults the Oracle. The Oracle doesn't mind too much and sends Kratos to get Pandora's box, which is the only thing that can destroy Ares. And the box, of course, is in the desert. I go across a giant sword bridge into a statue, and it has this long windy staircase in it. And I love this shit, man. It's building up some serious tension. I bet something awesome is up next. Yeah, what kind of game would this be without a sewer level? And believe it or not, this level's pretty unremarkable. I fight my way through the poop. Ooh, look at this triple hitter I take, god damn. Yeah, this is a very lively sewer. I mean, everybody's down here. Even your grandma. Yeah, so the sewer's just kind of one big slog through enemies. There's no new enemies, no set pieces. It just kind of is what it is. Fuck what it ain't. But at the end, we have equally long stairs back up to the surface. Oh, and it led back here. Love how connected it is, man. Makes the world feel seamless. Alright, let's keep moving. I enter a gate and suddenly I'm in the desert. It biome changed like Minecraft or something. And I love this long, lingering shot of Kratos running into the desert. It just feels artsy, dude. I talked to a statue about Pandora's box. I appreciate this chiseled Greek warrior. Look at them jawbones, hot damn! So Athena tells me I must find the sirens. Apparently they'll guide to a titan. Oh, and there he is, yeah, and he looks like he smelled a bad fart too. He has the Temple of Pandora chained to his back, so I guess we gotta get up there. So Kratos runs out into the desert for a concerningly long time, and eventually I can hear a song, and it leads to this booby lady. She got a real butterface, let me tell you. Yeah, she beats the shit out of me. She's immune to knockups, she's got this fast magic with like no wind-up time at all. I do beat her though, so now I got 2 sirens left to kill. So I go get lost in the desert again, and I can't find one to save my life. I can't even hear him, I'm just running around like a headless chicken. After a long ass time I do find one, but now she's got backup. God, I'm just not liking this section, man. I don't like deserts in real life or in game. Eventually I find the last siren and I can enter the temple. Not the one I want to be in, but just another one. Hey, you know me, baby, always taking that safety save. I enter a room with a conveyor belt and like a wheel of death. Turns out to be a puzzle, but it's pretty easy. You kill the enemies, you move the block to the other side, easy stuff. This leads me to a big horn, and I blow into it and it splits the sand sea. Up the stairs and there's another horn, but it disappears into sand, which causes a bunch of sirens to spawn. Man, I hate fighting them, but they got a really good execution. Check this out. Kratos does not mind violence against women. Alright, I slay him, I blow the horn, Titan's like, huh? Man, he's got a real who knows. Anyway, Kratos scales the Titan, which takes about 3 days to reach the temple on his back. And once at the top, we get this hard-ass shot of Kratos crossing a bridge. And the scale's immense as the camera just keeps zooming out. And on the other side, some harpies are dropping bodies into a fire. Most likely a sacred barbecue of sorts. Not my business.
So, you think you can conquer the Temple of the Gods, do you?
This zombie guy has the dullest voice I've ever heard. He sounds like Mark or Carl from the Cubicle Over one. He says I'm gonna die in the temple, and the harpies are gonna burn what's left of me. So, he lets me through anyway, naturally. Before I'm allowed through, I have to defeat some Cyclopses, and I set them straight, let me tell you. Got another long staircase. It's all about spectacle, man. The temple's filled with those spinny bastards, but I kind of figured out how to defeat them. When they start digging, you go on the defensive. You block, then you roll, and then they're open. Turns out if you get good, they're not that bad. I enter a rune door and I'm through to the Rings of Pandora. And it does appear to be a ring. Find a skull door, but it's locked, so that's not helping me. And across from that, it's like an Indiana Jones crusher trap. It's easy enough to get through. And on the other side, I couldn't help myself. I had to know if there was an animation for when you get crushed. Nothing but disappointment. Speaking of disappointment, I'm stuck again. I just can't figure out how to dive. I've pressed every button. This seems like the obvious way to go. Yeah, I take a while trying to figure out how to dive, and I don't succeed. So it turns out there was a lever kind of hidden in plain sight. I mean, obscured by a camera angle, but it was right there. Outside, I push a lever and it spins the Rings of Pandora, until I get to this door with cute girls on it. My favorite kind of door. I can't get in yet, but that's gonna be a goal of mine, get in the cute girl door. Beyond the door, Artemis gives me a sword, which apparently was used to slay a Titan. And it's pretty cool, I guess, just not nearly as cool as the Blades of Chaos. So with this much less cool sword, I enter the Challenge of Atlas. The next room lets you try it out on some fodder enemies, and it just doesn't have the magic of the Chaos Blade, man. I just don't think I'm ever gonna use it unless the game makes me. Spoilers! The game doesn't make you use it ever, it's pointless! I actually died twice in this room, just trying to get through. I might just be getting filtered out by the game, I'm unsure. It's really starting to pull out the knives at this point. That being said, it's still fun as ever. Once upstairs, I pull a lever that makes this giant weight come down. I slide on down and it leads me to one of those rope crossing battles. At this point, I don't think I care for him, I'd rather be on the ground. I collect the Shield of Hades, and this leads to one of my favorite battles in the game so far. Enemies start spawning in, meanwhile there's a crusher slowly coming at you from behind. I didn't even realize the stakes on my first try through, so obviously I died. But it's so fun scrambling to kill the enemies before the crusher reaches you. It had me sweating, man. Later on I put the shield in the door, and it turns out I need a second one. I do a quick puzzle, which I actually thought I was soft locked in because I killed all the enemies. Turns out there was a grabbable weight around the corner that you could just put on the button. I get the Shield of Zeus, and of course it led me to the horrible Blade Room of Nightmares. On the other side of the room, there's this breakable wall, so, I thought I found a secret. Inside's a conveyor belt crusher thing, and that leads outside to a climby section. And then, once you get to the top, there's a whole nother arena to fight in. It's got the shield fodder and it's got those sirens again. The floor keeps buckling and eventually just falls out from underneath you. I die a couple of times and it's because I thought I was hitting the floor too hard. Turns out it's just a timed battle. My bad. Once I figured that out, I got the Handle of Atlas. So, this couldn't have been a secret room because we got what seems like a plot important item. I don't know, I just find it strange to put a required section behind a breakable wall. Like, up till now, breakable walls have just been for secrets. Whatever. In the nightmare room, I pull 2 levers and that opens the door, and then I get so excited that the door's open that I just jump to my death. And then I got confused because the door ahead of me had a carving of Sisyphus on it. And I'm familiar with Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the mountain. So I took it as, it's useless to go this way, it's futile to try. But I was all wrong, you just gotta shimmy across the wall. On the other side, guess what? There's some more enemies, but there's a giant statue of Sisyphus. You can use that handle from before and it actually makes Sisyphus pick up the boulder, which goes hard as hell. And I look behind him because I'm a curious sort, and I find a muse key in a chest. So close to the booby door I can feel it. I pull another lever and Sisyphus stands up and just tosses that fucking boulder like it's nothing. That leads me outside to a casket, I guess. So Kratos opens it, gets on top, and then I gotta mash R2 to take the head off. This act opens up a tunnel, and the tunnel is quite spooky and it's full of bodies. Bodies that remind Kratos of a certain something that happened in his past. Yeah, it's flashback time. Kratos and his army were outnumbered by thousands of barbarians, and it was a goddamn slaughter. The Spartans got tore up, there was no chance. But right before death, Kratos pledged himself to Ares.
Destroy my enemies!
By the gods, what have I become?
God, I love Kratos and his moody ass. And we loop back around. Cool. Seems the only way forward is through the skull door, so I'll gingerly use the head as a key. Seems about right to me. There's a ladder up there I can't get to, so I assume there's only one solution. Of course, I gotta wait for the cycle first. Alright, let's go. Outside, there's this cute little green dog, and I love him, like, so much. But he does a gremlins, and he transforms into something horrible. I have to fight a bunch of them, and I have to defeat them quickly so they can't transform. I love this concept for an enemy. Oh, and the big ones shoot fireballs. Thought I'd mention that. Past them are some Cyclopses. And then there's another archer section, and you know how much I love archer sections. Except now the arrows explode. Wow. Not even the cover works now. That's great. It was very cathartic to get over there and kick their asses, though. Later on, I meet some new enemies, and they're sons of bitches. I hate them. They kick my ass, and they can even grab you. The finisher is awesome, though. You just kind of stab them with their own sword. Metal as hell. Afterwards, I scale a wall, and I find the second muse key in a chest. I am so excited to loop back to the booby door, man. You have no idea. Kratos bath time. I sacrifice some dude in a cage. Anything to complete the objective. Kratos is like borderline evil. Anyway, this leads me to a chamber with Poseidon's trident embedded in stone. Like King Arthur, Kratos will pull the sword from the stone. Or trident, whatever. Either way, it lets me dive, finally. And I dive down through some tunnels and Kratos hurts his face a bit. Find a room with some pups in it. Managed to kill them all before they transform, because I'm an epic gamer. Found this sexy spirit lady. And I find this trap room that'll squish you if you're not careful. And I died twice just out of sheer impatience. Seems to be a theme with me. There's this puzzle room that took me a little bit too long to figure out. You gotta pull some levers, and then an elevator comes out the water, blah blah blah. Man, not gonna lie, I'm getting pretty tired of the temple. Temples are cool and all, but this ain't Nickelodeon. Get it out of my face! And first things first, let's go to the muse door. Well, it's got less babes than I imagined, but still worth it. I take a shower and it increases my health, my mana, and my red. So we're doing pretty good. Another skull door, which means we're gonna be decapitating another corpse, I assume. I swim down through the tunnel. On the other side, there's a giant door with a lock in the shape of a minotaur. In the back of the room, there's a lever that shoots flaming logs or something. I don't know, there's a poop joke in there somewhere. So I break down a secret wall and I arrive at the Challenge of Hades. Looks rad. This is where I imagine a guy like Kratos would find himself. There's even a pool of blood to go swimming in. This doorway says I need to do evil blood sacrifices. And it makes a bunch of evil centaurs come out. And there are many of them, and they all suck. Yeah, they beat me up for a while until I realized the circles on the floor is actually where I need to kill them. See? I accidentally kill one in the circle and boom, lights up. Sacrifice enough of them and the door opens. Moving forward, there's some lava death traps, and that's followed by arrow death traps. A lot of death traps. Speaking of death traps, this really unfair Medusa got me a good few times. You can't really roll around in such a cramped area. Kind of a bullshit encounter. So I rip her head off for catharsis. And it turns out this is a maze, and I hate mazes. And while it's not the longest, most confusing maze, this game is definitely made for arenas in my humble opinion. I begrudgingly fight my way through the maze, and at the end of it, I learn that I need to kill all the enemies in order to progress. But I thought I did that. This makes no sense. So I scour the maze and I can't find anyone at all. I mean, I'm looking for secret walls, secret doors, and I find nothing. Eventually, I get lucky. There was no button prompt for this, I just tried it and it worked. A little bit of bull hockey from God of War, I guess. Once all the enemies are defeated, I'm able to loop back to that central room again. A statue rises up out of the blood pool, and it's got abs. And I forgot to mention it earlier, but Kratos can't go forward because he's scared of the dark. So I turn on the statue, I turn him around, and now Kratos won't be scared. Which is great and all, The only problem is giant flaming boulders now. So I dodge and weave through them, and once at the end, I get some goodies. And then I read this book that tells me I have to go back and open up doors while the boulders are rolling at me. Good God. And you already know it's button mash central. I had to open up about 5 before I found the exit. Hope you don't have a fear of heights. I do in real life, and this game's kind of evoking it right now. And finally, it's time to see what's behind the Minotaur door. And I assume it is a Minotaur. Surprise, bitch, it is. Firstly, I love how he looks. The glowing eyes, the metal armor. He looks the part of a difficult boss. He's got a couple different attacks, but I just hit him with that lightning. Then he blows a gasket and starts shooting fire everywhere. Once staggered, he gets that Medusa-type minigame that I'm just not so great at. Hey, it's better than a button mash. After, he just kind of stands there while I wail on him. And I'm over here wondering if there's something else I should be doing. I do it over and over and I'm not making any progress. I must be forgetting something. Thing is, I've been in this room before, and I forgot all about the lever that shoots those logs. So, that's all on me, pretty much. The logs allow me to break his armor, and the fight really isn't too bad. He drops so much health and mana that I'm just able to spam lightning the whole time. One last log, baby! Impaled him. Stuck him right to the wall. He's a piece of art now just hanging there. And what's my reward for killing this beast? More stairs, hell yeah. At the top is another coffin, and I think we all know what that means by this point. Yup, another head. Back down in the boss room, Hades has something to say to me. He gives Kratos another spell, and then the game gives us enemies to try it out. The spell sucks, whatever, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to use lightning the whole time, who cares? I'm then able to open that skull door from before, which drains some water out. I'm then shown a crystal, and if you're an astute gamer like me, you'll put the pieces together. I rotate the rings of Pandora until I have a clear shot, crystal to crystal. Doing this makes the temple start to crumble around me. The statue rises, and I'm able to take an elevator up to the top. Once there, the statue gingerly lowers Kratos. How nice. And it's new enemy time. And I'm not sure what it is, but I love its design. I'm going to call it a jackal. He's tough in a 1v1, so of course I have to fight multiple at once. I really need to find the weakness for these guys, because they kick my ass. Past that, Kratos sees a harpy. This harpy triggers his flashbacks, where the blades of chaos are seared into his arms. Moving on to the Cliffs of Madness, which is still on the Titan's back. I enter a badass looking cave. There's some jackals inside. Cool. I pull this crank to make these platforms spin, and I think Kratos is pretty used to this kind of stuff by now. I come up to the statue of Hera, and that needs a necklace, and then Aphrodite, which actually reveals a secret that was obscured by the camera angle. I love this kind of stuff, man. I get a bunch of red tomato soup for it, too. I was right over there. I go down the intended path, there are jackals on a narrow walkway. Yeah, bullshit ensues. That puts me back just far enough that I have to do the secret stuff all over again. Don't mind me, I'm just being a bit salty. So I very carefully dispatch the jackals, and then I enter a cave with one of the necklaces locked away. A book says something like, rebuild my soul, and I guess that's my hint for the puzzle. I have to move all these blocks around, and they're all supposed to fit together in some way. At first I didn't realize you need to put them right next to the gate, but once I figured that out it went smoothly enough. I was able to do it, no cheating with Moist Fob required, though there was an extra decoy piece, and I hate that. But I get the necklace. I place it on Hera's statue and half a bridge extends. Now I just need the other piece. I backtrack a little ways to a new cave. This one has bodies everywhere, and I realized too late what I was supposed to be doing, so I get impaled. Second try goes off without a hitch, and I get the second necklace. Up the moving platforms to a flashback. This one is about how Kratos was a servant of Ares. While pillaging a village, Kratos cleared out a temple, and his last 2 victims apparently would come to haunt him. Anyway, once done lamenting, I do a rope swing. Oops. Alright, Architect's Tomb. Looks like a great place. I get a little too impatient with the saw blades, so I die a few times. On the other side of the blades is a door that I need to open. So I push a statue on a button. It helps, but it appears I'm going to need to press more buttons before I can get it open. I find some breakable ground that's too hard for Kratos to break manually, and Kratos finally fulfills his dreams of being a crane operator, and I break through the ground with a block. It can't reach the switch though. Besides, I'm getting jacked by some Cyclopses. Son of a bitch. Back to the puzzle, the block can't reach the underground switch, so I use the statue, and I put the block on the button it can reach. There's one more button though, and it's across the saw blades, of course. It actually doesn't go too poorly, and I open the door and, oh dear, I hope I'm not interrupting. You know, I'm not sure who's the weird one here. Kratos ripping heads off corpses, or the person who made the doors with a head for a key. Either way, the door leads to this awesome-ass temple. A lot of cool temples in this game. Another staircase! Well, this doesn't look too good. It's actually fine, it's just harpies and archers, not bad at all. Once through, I pull on this weird egg thing to reveal Pandora's box. Absolutely metal, man. I had zero expectations about its appearance, and I'm still impressed. Anyway, Athena tells Kratos to head back to Athens. Everything's starting to wrap up now. The floor moves down and brings us to the entrance of the temple from before. Ares catches wind and absolutely decimates Kratos. This causes yet another flashback. Yeah, turns out Kratos' last two victims were his wife and daughter. And to add insult to injury, their ashes fuse with his skin, giving him vitiligo. Kratos then proceeds to fall into hell. I'm not too sure what to say about that, other than I really wasn't expecting to go to hell. And it turns out that hell has a whole lot more platforming than I imagined. Eventually I come across this thing. It's a spinny flesh tube with blades, I suppose. I'm sure this won't become a problem. Yeah, it became a problem. The harpies are on fire here. Menacing for sure, but it doesn't make them any more difficult. Man, I really don't like the platforming. I came to beat up monsters, not jump across platforms all day. I guess this is hell after all. Finally, I get what I wanted, but I still can't do this damn button mash. I actually get stuck, but using lightning set me free. I feel like there's a song about that. Okay, so this looks great. I'm supposed to climb up while it's rotating, and it's not too bad. Well, until the second one. At this point, I started using save states. This section was not fun. And I play games to have fun. Crazy, right? I would rather cheat than get frustrated needlessly. It's a game, not a test of my valor. Yeah, check this out. No regrets about cheating. Once at the top, I take that sweet safety save. Absolute relief. I reach maximum mana. Then I fight some fire jackals until platforms rise up to give me a convenient escape. A rope falls from the sky and I climb it without hesitation. Turns out it was the Gravedigger. He was so right about Kratos dying and I had no idea. What an absolute homie. And with that, I guess it's time to go face Ares. So I move through the ruined Temple of Oracle, now populated by enemies. Eventually I find the Oracle herself and she's messed up, man. She's like, duh, you're too late, duh. Yeah, Kratos will see about that. Man, I am not sure what the plan is here. Kratos is immortal and doesn't have the box. Seems like a losing proposition to me. Oh, just kidding. Kratos gets to the box anyway, and it makes him large and in charge. In response to this, Ares grows spider legs out his back, which is disgusting and horrifying. This is where Kratos starts swinging, and it's not too bad, at least so far. I mean, he's tough, but he drops health and mana the whole time, so I can just kind of spam lightning. I do enough damage to stagger him, and the gods have frowned upon me this day, because it's a button mash. And by some miracle, I actually get it. Ares doesn't like getting dunked on though, so he sucks up Kratos through a portal. This brings him to the scene of his worst crime, the temple where he killed his wife and daughter. And surprise, surprise, they're both alive. This starts a whole sequence where I need to defend them from Kratos clones. And the clones are relentless, and eventually the whole temple just crumbles away, leaving Kratos on a floating platform. And the only way to keep your family alive is to give them a big ol' hug. Isn't that sweet? Of course that drains your health though. Yeah, this section's actually pretty tough. I get through it by spamming lightning and using my Spartan Rage, but it's a close call. And what does Kratos get for saving his family? He loses his Chaos Blades, loses his magic, and his family still dies. Life is rough, but it doesn't keep Kratos down. He grabs the sword we used as a bridge in the beginning of the game, which is hard as hell, and the fight turns into this tug of war between health bars. Ares gets a hit, he gains some health, and vice versa. This part kicks my ass, man, and you already know the stagger's another button mash. It does good damage, but it's so unreliable for me to pull off. So I try over and over again. I keep trying and trying, and it crashed? You have to be kidding me. I have to do it all over again? This is a goddamn nightmare. And would you believe it happens a second time? Seriously, I hate this boss fight so much. This amazing game is ending on such a sour note. After many, many, many tries, I do defeat Ares. Stab him right through the neck. And this causes Ares to self-destruct, thus, quote-unquote, saving the city, despite it already being in ruins. I think saving is a strong word for this. Despite saving the city, Kratos is still moody. The gods won't help him forget his past, so he walks up to a cliff and jumps off, bringing us back to the beginning of the game. The gods weren't going to let this happen though, so they flew him right back up to the top. Kratos takes some stairs up to Mount Olympus, where he takes Ares' throne, becoming the new god of war. And with that, the game is over. Well, I absolutely loved it. Of course I have some gripes. Things like button mashing, the final boss, the platforming, but whatever, what was good was excellent. It was the sheer scale of it that almost made me feel small. It was the pacing, the game wasn't afraid to slow down and have long lingering shots of, say, the stairs or the entrance to the desert. All I can say is, I can't believe I hadn't played this before. This game's a classic for a reason. As always, I've been MoistFob. Thank you for watching.
Now I have a Patreon.